Hi guys and welcome to Mottor. KTM surprised everyone by launching the Duke 125 in the Indian market. A motorcycle which Rajiv Bajaj had said, find me one buyer and I will launch it. Well, it's here and it is priced at a premium at rupees 1.18 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi. However, it has to compete with the other youth-centric motorcycle in the Indian market, which happens to be the highly popular Yamaha R15 version 3. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a spec comparison between both these motorcycles. But before we get going, make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe to the Mottor channel. First things first, why the Duke 125? Why do we need a 125cc sporty motorcycle which costs almost rupees 1.4 lakhs on road? Well, when KTM entered the Indian market more than 6 years back, they launched the Duke 200 at the same identical price, and hence KTM wants to offer another entry-level motorcycle to make their machines more accessible. And because of the pricing, it has to compete with the Yamaha R15 version 3. And to start off, let me talk about the design. There is no denying the fact that the R15 version 3 looks like $1,000,000. However, the Duke 125 is a very beefy looking motorcycle which doesn't look like a 125cc machine at all, and that's because its complete design is identical to the Duke 200 other than the fact that it gets a smaller engine. So in terms of appearance, it all depends if you like a street naked or you're a fan of a full paired motorcycle, and definitely I'm inclined more towards the R15 version 3 because the Duke 125 carries the old Duke design, not the one which we see on the Duke 250 or the Duke 390. Although KTM is selling the Duke 125 with the new design language in the international market. Both these motorcycles also get an all-digital instrument cluster, and the one on the KTM is loaded with a ton more information than the R15 version 3. But the one on the R15 definitely looks better and more readable too. Now, because there's a big difference between the style of both these motorcycles, there's a massive difference in terms of ergonomics as well. The Duke 125 is more comfortable, the R15 version 3 is very leaned in and not really a motorcycle you would like to ride for long. Now we are comparing a 125cc motorcycle with a 150. There is of course a lot of difference, but that's only in terms of displacement power and torque. In terms of engine technology, both of them are very good because both of them use a 4-valve head and of course come with fuel injection and liquid cooling as well. Both also employ a 6-speed gearbox. The R15 also gets a slipper clutch. And as they say, there's no replacement for displacement because the 155cc engine in the R15 produces 19 horsepower. Meanwhile, the Duke 125's engine produces just 14.3 horsepower. And that advantage of the Yamaha is there in terms of torque output as well, because the R15 version 3 outputs 15 Newton meters of torque. Meanwhile, the Duke 125 outputs just 12 Newton meters of torque. And definitely it is the R15 version 3 which is not only faster in terms of 0 to 100 km per hour, but throughout the rev range, it is also having the higher top speed here. Ironically, the R15 version 3, thanks to VVA, is also the more fuel efficient motorcycle here by at least 5 km per liter. And that's also because the R15 version 3, in spite of being a full-fed motorcycle with a lot more body parts, is actually lighter than the Duke 125, which tips the scale similar to the Duke 200. course, the R15 being a Yamaha and a Japanese engine motorcycle is extremely refined and smooth. But we were very surprised by the Duke 125 as well, because it is the smoothest of all the KTM motorcycles available in India. It is very refined and doesn't sound coarse at all, in spite of having a massively high compression ratio. Now you might be wondering, why are you paying so much more money for a 125cc motorcycle? Well, because the Duke 125 has a lot of segment first hardware, like the trellis frame, the upside down front forks, and also a WP monoshock. That's not all, it also gets a single channel ABS, which by the way is missing on the R15 version 3. The Duke also has a longer wheelbase and gets wider tires when compared to the R15. The R15 uses a perimeter frame, it misses out on upside down forks. However, the R15 version 3 with its shorter wheelbase, aggressive riding position which has better front end feel and better grip from the tires is just the better handler here. And even though the R15 version 3 misses out on ABS, which by the way is coming soon on this Yamaha, it still has fantastic brakes and a very positive bite at the levers. Since both of these motorcycles are stiffly sprung, there is little to choose between the ride quality of these motorcycles. But in terms of high speed stability, of course, the full-fed Yamaha with a windscreen visor is definitely going to do a better job in terms of curbing wind blast. So as you can see guys, the R15 version 3 is a very accomplished motorcycle. It offers a lot. It seems like the perfect beginner sport bike. However, the Duke 125 holds its own. It's definitely a very interesting proposition, because a big bike feel in a smaller capacity package is certainly something which the Indian market was missing out till now. It's a comfortable motorcycle when compared to the R15, and it costs 13,000 cheaper as well, and it even offers ABS for that price. So this comparison between the R15 and the Duke 125 is a tough one, because choosing one all depends on what do you prefer more. For me personally, I feel that the R15 is a better package overall, but considering the mad rush at KTM dealerships, we all know that the Duke 125 is a motorcycle which is worth reckoning with.